So I want to get back to doing my book today, but I want to point out a few things. Yesterday it was rainy, so I live in a converted school bus. It has a metal roof, and so when it rains, it's very noisy. I wouldn't be able to have the audio record. So I just did time lapses of these spheres. And so since I didn't get to vocally ponder them, and that's kind of why I was making these videos, I'm going to kind of just recap everything. So what my attention is being drawn to is this idea of the documentary. When I started this page, I was talking about going and downloading these videos from my lifestyle, all of these experiences of us building a tiny house, a bus, getting the land, basically like my journey over the last 4 years with Bodhi. I was going to make a documentary about it. But going through this whole process, what I've realized is that this idea of making a documentary is premature. Like that's the big dream, right? So this was putting a lot of pressure on me. I was thinking about this the last couple of days because the big dream is that I'm going to make this documentary. But what I thought I was going to be doing was I was also going to be writing a memoir, or I'm sorry, writing a theory of quantum memoir. But this was too big of a project for me to chew up all at once due this winter. So I've already done part of it, which was my this book right here, the version 2 philosophy, doing alchemy. So now I'm going to put that aside, let that kind of ruminate in my mind, and I'm going to start this next big project, which is a documentary. But I recognize through these cycles of time that I go through, I'm not going to be able to just whip out a documentary this winter. There's going to be, I have 4 years after going through all these downloads, I have 130 YouTube videos. I have 4 years worth of experiences of us building this lifestyle. And I wasn't even sure when I started what that project was going to be. When I first went minimalist, looking at the very first videos, I didn't know it was going to be a tiny house. I didn't know I was going to be living in a school bus. I didn't know I was going to be moving to Missouri, living off grid and on 5 acres of woods. I didn't know these things. So now I had the experience of not knowing from one end 4 years ago to being fast forwarded to now, knowing what I've done, but still not knowing the conclusion. So the big dream is kind of the conclusion of what I've been doing. What I see right now is a now dream, a now dream, which is to just take all of these videos and instead of making a documentary, my expression is that I'm going to make a condensed version, like maybe a part 1 and a part 2. So I guess what I'm doing is I'm thinking out loud. I'm telling you in this video, but I'm telling myself kind of like a plan or an outline for what my art project is, which is to write a theory about the quantum memoir, which I'm in the process of. It's not going to happen all in one day or 1 year. It's taking years to do. And then also a documentary about this change that Bodhi and I have experienced in all aspects of our life. That would be my big dream here. But what I'm going to do right now, the now part, is, let's put a little asterisk up here, is I'm going to make a part 1 and a part 2. I don't know what those will be yet. That'll be when I start editing the videos. So this will be from editing. So really what I'm going to do is I'm going to make like collage, like a video collage of all the best. Okay, there we go. Best of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these YouTube videos. I'm going to put together, because I don't even know how many hours I have, but I know I have a lot of footage and it would be more than would fit in one documentary. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to condense it into a part 1 and a part 2 of the best of whatever this thing is that Bodhi and I have been doing with building our lifestyle, building our home. So that's where I am at in this moment. Now, before we go over here, I just want to look at my notes. So usually when I come back to a page, I kind of do a recap, and I don't necessarily go through every single word. What I do is I let my eyes just focus and draw in. So like right now my eyes are drawing into right here. Style. What I did was I explored the etymology of style, because lifestyle keeps coming up for me. So I wanted to understand, what does this word style mean beyond what I think I learned in grammar school? So it's a narrative. It's also a writing instrument. So this is a style. Manner or mode or a way of life. So for me, I'm a deliberate creator. I'm intentional. I have a ritual. I push energy out in a very specific, intentional way. So I have a style, a lifestyle, that is my art. So that's kind of what I'm coming to. So I guess what I see is that because my entire life is art, these documentaries, the quantum memoir, the theory of the quantum memoir, these are all just projects. They're like the fruits. Yeah, they're the fruits of my flower. The flower is Molly. And the life, that awareness that I am, I guess, is the seed, is the inspiration. I don't know. I think I just kind of went off on a tangent. So let's go back over here and see what I had created for these spheres. I'm gonna just adjust my light a little bit. So for my purpose, I have art. So what I wanted to do is, in this book right here, in my philosophy book, I had created, you can see, just lots of words, just full of words. There was not a lot of art in it, not a lot of doodles. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to get back to my artwork, creating symbols and imagery and using the colors instead of just using words, just lead pencil. So I started with my purpose, and then what I started doing is I started downloading these videos, and then I had this self-reflection about downloads, not just, data on the internet, but my own self, my physical or quantum self. And then for the body sphere, what I did is I did a standing guided meditation yesterday, which I really, really liked. I'm going to do it again today. I put it on a playlist so I could do it on a regular basis. So by standing still, but you're still kind of moving, I could feel where my body was, like, I could see that, like, oh, I'm always kind of leaning to the left. I'm not really standing upright, or my posture is not equalized, whatever, to this degree, like I'm leaning forward or backwards. So I could see how important just standing for an extended period of time, but not doing something like cooking, but actually just very much standing still would be another form of meditation and exercise, really strengthening your core, not just physically in your body, but that subtle energy of feeling when things are out of an equilibrium or when they're trying to get into an equilibrium. So that was my body sphere. And then for my intend sphere, what I realized is through my artwork and just kind of everything I do is I'm very intentional. I put ritual here today from something I listened to, which is to push energy outward. So I guess as a deliberate creator, I'm very, I don't want to say systematic, but I am systematic because I'm intuitive to where I let my systematicness change and flow, and I guess like style, let it be different. I'm adaptable, but I'm always doing things with a purpose. I'm always seeing, oh, I know what it is. Meaning. That's what it is. I am creating meaning. And this word meaning is standing out right now. I'm hearing it standing out, like the mean, like the golden, like phi, the golden ratio. I should have looked this up, but I think this is the phi. I don't know if that O goes outside the I, but that's the phi. know what? Just because I'm not sure if I got it right, I'm gonna write 5. So, as a deliberate creator, what I'm doing is whenever something is coming to me, I'm creating meaning from it. So I'm trying no longer to control what is coming to me. I'm allowing whatever to come to me, and then I'm creating a meaning to it, and then I'm restyling it, I'm editing it, and then I'm presenting it as a new form of thought, or like a product, or life experience, or lesson, or whatever it might be. I'm doing a lot of recreation, is what I'm sensing. So then my observation is what's coming to me next. This yin and yang, this is the wu way, the middle way, where one, like the silence is leading into the sound, or the darkness into the light, the positive into the negative. There's this motion, this movement that I'm observing in my art and play. So Bodhi and I have been playing, so these kind of things, these all kind of come up, this art and play and lifestyle. This is not just a me thing, even though it's like me as an individual. It's also with my husband, Bodhi. It's my individual art and his art coming together and building a whole new art, which is our lifestyle. We have this ability to like be, I drew French doors, this ability to be independent of one another. This is my symbolism. You know, the doors swing independently of one another, or they can swing out together, open and close together. So this is the connect sphere that I kind of brought this idea of our art together and how we influence one another. And actually what's coming to my attention is courage. Because of one another, we help each other have courage. Yeah, I don't know. We'll just go with that. All right, so what else? Building my home. So for here, I was squaring the circle or circling the square. I know I didn't get it exactly right, but this is the symbolism of what I was creating, was the art that I've been working on in this last 4 years that I'm thinking about making this documentary or this best of video series, is that I've been building our home while my husband was working. I planned and designed the tiny house. We built it in the summer together. You know, after that didn't necessarily work out, we lived off grid. We built this lifestyle of understanding how not having water on the ready and not having electricity on the ready affect our daily life and our psyche, and, you know, learn from that. Then it was the school bus conversion. Then it was buying land. Then it was moving off grid to the land. Like, everything has been very centric on this idea of a foundation of home. So for me, Buckminster Fuller really represents that, because as an architect, but also as a philosopher, he kind of merges these ideas together. And if you just search Buckminster Fuller if you're interested in learning more about him. But basically, I've been building square homes. Even the shape of my property is very squarish. So what I would love to do is see what the psyche would be like in not a square or angular home. Well, I guess a dome would have angles, but I want to live in a round house. Somehow a cylinder, round. I want to have a different frame of reference for my domicile. So my big dream would not just be to build a shipping container home as like a common house for the property, but to build some sort of dome structure, perhaps a Bucky dome. So big dream, we'll see. And then finally, thou art, you are. So yesterday, because of art and everything, thou art, these words specifically came up for me. And so I looked it up, and it means thou, you are. And so of course it makes sense in my page is that I am art. So I don't know exactly where I'm going with this, but I'm probably going to read an article or two. Just sit here for a moment and see what comes forward. I'm not sure if I want to get into my video edits or if I'm going to play with this page, but I did want to have a vocal recap of what I did yesterday to go along with the time lapses that I did for these spheres. So this is my first spread in this new Quantum MeMoir book. I have the thought form of the fruit of life, my note page. That's this book. This is the one that's coming after my Quantum MeMoir Theory version 2 on philosophy. So let's see where we go.